And we have made a number of mistakes.
The rise and fall of Ujamaa, why Tanzania's socialist dream failed. Welcome to GeoAfrica, where we unpack the untold stories of Africa's history. Today, we dive into one of the most ambitious social experiments on the continent, Julius Nyerere's Ujamaa. In the 1960s, fresh from independence, Nyerere dreamed of uniting Tanzanians through Ujamaa, or familyhood. Inspired by African socialism, he aimed to create equality, self-reliance, and community-based development. On paper, it sounded like the perfect antidote to colonial capitalism. In reality, not so much. So, what went wrong? Let's break it down. 1. Forced villagization. To implement Ujamaa, Nyerere relocated millions of people into communal villages. The idea was to pool resources and work together. But many were forced to move against their will. People were uprooted from their ancestral lands, disrupting traditional ways of life. Imagine being told to leave your home and start farming in an unfamiliar area, with no guarantee of success. 2. Poor planning and implementation. Ujamaa villages were poorly planned. Infrastructure, resources, and farming tools were often lacking. Worse, the government overestimated the ability of these villages to produce enough food. The result? Declining agricultural production and widespread hunger. 3rd, dependency on foreign aid. Ironically, a policy built on self-reliance became heavily dependent on foreign aid. As the economy weakened, Tanzania borrowed heavily from international donors. This undermined the very principles of Ujamaa and plunged the country into debt. 4th, resistance from the people. Tanzanians weren't on board with Ujamaa. Many resisted collectivization, viewing it as an attack on their independence. Farmers, in particular, preferred working on their own plots rather than communal farms where profits were shared equally, regardless of effort. 5th, global economic pressures. The 1970s brought oil shocks and global recessions. Tanzania's economy, already struggling under Ujamaa, couldn't withstand these pressures. Export revenues dropped, and essential goods became scarce, adding fuel to the fire. 6th, lack of incentives. Ujamaa discouraged individual enterprise. Farmers had no motivation to work harder since profits were communal. Without incentives for innovation or efficiency, productivity declined year after year. By the 1980s, Ujamaa had collapsed, leaving Tanzania's economy in shambles. But was it all bad? Not entirely. Ujamaa did promote national unity and pride, something rare in newly independent African states. Yet, its economic failures overshadowed these achievements. So, what do you think? Was Ujamaa doomed from the start, or could it have succeeded with better planning and execution? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more African stories on GeoAfrica.